Man, what's up, y'all? Man, look, it's the morning after Super Bowl 60s in the books. Seattle flexed in all three phases of the game, and I'm telling you right now, the Seahawks didn't just win the Lombardi, they went in there and they just took it. I picked the Patriots, that's my squad, but I should have known better. You know what I mean? Like, I thought with my heart more so than with my mind, because I'm looking at the all 22s all week, and I'm like, yeah, Seattle was like that. You know what I'm saying? But my heart was like, hey, look, we ain't losing to Seattle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew what it was. You know what I mean? But the real story of the game was the Seahawks defense, man. The number one defense showed up like it was personal. Mike McDonald had that unit on Demon Tom, pressure from everywhere, DB blitzes, late rotations, disguises, and had Drake May looking like he was trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in the dark. So early on, they brought pressure from the secondary, and it set the tone immediately. Witherspoon was coming, the protection was confused, and Drake May was getting hit all night. And then that defensive line, man, look, they ate, man. They ate all game, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, and it felt like every time New England was trying to get something going, Seattle just sniffed it out. You had Derek Hall, Byron Murphy, the second, Witherspoon, Mills, DeMarcus Lawrence, everybody getting involved, and that's when you know it's not just stars, it's depth. And then they sealed it with that pick six late, and what sparked that was more pressure. You know what I mean? They put Drake May under a lot of chaos last night. Defense had a party all night, man. And for Drake May, look, rough night in the biggest moment. I ain't trying to drag the kid, but he had an incredible season. But last night, that pressure got to him. He finished 27 for 43, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. But if we're keeping it real, most of those stats came from after Seattle already had control. Because the first half, New England couldn't do anything. They punted on basically every real possession, 5 straight non-kneel drives in the first half, ended in punts. Barely any first downs, no rhythms. And when they came out after halftime needing answers, it was more of the same stuff. 3 and outs, stacked up, and it turned into too little, too late type time. You know what I'm saying? But Seattle had May holding the ball, moving off his first read a lot of times. Nobody was open. That secondary, man, they strapped up. New England's wide receivers, man. And shout out to Kenneth Walker III, Super Bowl MVP. Offensively, Seattle didn't need to be perfect through the air, but Kenneth Walker III, he put that cape on, man. He did his thing. Sam Darnold wasn't exactly sharp, right? He missed some throws, didn't look comfortable, but Kenneth Walker was like, I got us, you know what I'm saying? So 135 yards rushing on 27 carries, and he was ripping off chunk runs, 10-plus yarders, big second quarter burst, patient like Le'Veon Bell, you know what I mean? I'm looking at him like, is that Le'Veon? Yo, what's up? You know what I mean? He was being patient, letting the lanes develop, and then he just exploded through the lane, and that matters because when New England came into this game, proud of how they've been dealing with the run, but Walker was truly a difference maker for that offense. That was a big-time game on the biggest stage from him. For the Patriots, though, the bright spot was the defense. They actually gave him a little chance. And I want to give them the credit where it's due. That defense fought all night. Christian Gonzalez had multiple clutch breakups, and the Pats were getting pressure on Darnold a lot. They kept the game from getting out of hand early. They held Seattle to 1 of 4 in the red zone, and Seattle went 4 for 16 on third down. That's winning defense. They just didn't have the offense to give them anything. So it's like the defense was playing on the treadmill all night, and eventually, you're going to wear it down, man. You're going to crack. And Drake May's fumble gave Seattle a short field for the first touchdown, and then the pick six was, the final nail in the coffin. And then we look at special teams. Seattle won in that phase too. So, that's complete championship football that they played last night. Jason Myers was automatic, 5 field goals, that's Super Bowl record. And every time a drive stalled, Seattle came away with some points. Plus, punter Michael Dixon, he flipped the field, pinning New England deep a lot, setting the table for that defense to just feast and keep feasting. And that's how you dominate without needing the fireworks on offense, man. So, bottom line, Seattle won the Super Bowl with defense, with the run game, and with special teams. And when you win in all phases like that, it's not a close game, it's a takeover. And honestly, if it wasn't for that defense of New England, that score would have been, blown completely open. They probably would have dropped 40 to 50 points on New England last night if it wasn't for that defense. So you got to get the defense some credit, man. Offensively, it needs some work. So, but if you're a Seahawks fan, look, congratulations. Enjoy the parade. If you're a New England fan, look, yeah, you got a young quarterback. You got a coach. Your foundation is what it is. But that game film is going to hurt, and you're going to see where you have issues. Like, the issues been there all year. It's just they were winning, so it's covering it up. You still need a wide receiver. I've been saying they need a wide receiver since Tom Brady's last year. You know what I'm saying? So they still need a bona fide number one wide receiver. You know, you still need to get younger at tight end, get yourself a better tight end. You know, Hunter Henry's okay, but I mean, like, he's in his 10th year. Hey, he ain't the same Hunter Henry. Hooper can go. You know, guys like Mac Hollins, like, yeah, it's a fun story, cool guy, walk around, no shoes on, but can you rely on guys like that, you know, as your wide receiver core? You know what I'm saying? Even if he stays, you still need to bring in somebody else. You need a bona fide number one wide receiver, because Stephon Diggs is not that. Not at this point in his career. You know what I'm saying? So they got a lot of things to figure out. Then the offensive line, which was terrible. Will Campbell, whew, boy, like, and I don't want to rain on the kid parade because he had a rough postseason. Each week he was getting dogged. But last night he got completely dog walked. Like, I have never seen this in the game where a guy repeatedly at the pro level get drove back into the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He get knocked on his butt, everything. I'm just like, dog, like, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so my question is tackle really the spot for him, or should he be a guard? So maybe they need to make sure they got the guys on this offensive line playing in the right positions. So that goes into coaching, man. And then I also hope that New England fans, like I said, I'm a Pats fan too, but I like to keep it a buck, man. I really hope that Patriots fans now realize that, yo, like, Drake May shouldn't have been MVP, because I know after Matt Stafford won and he rightfully won it, was a lot of Patriots fans talking about Drake May was robbed. Bro, we seen it last night. Like, he couldn't do anything. And yeah, I know the pressure was there, but still, like, you still make some plays. Use your legs. Like, when stuff wasn't developing, you supposed to take off and run, and he never did. Like, he did a few times, but it wasn't enough. You know, he could have extended plays with his legs, but he didn't. But and if we thinking about, like, people talking about the house money and all that stuff, bro, that's a bunch of BS, man. Like, there is no house money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like this was the opportunity to seize it and to go win a Super Bowl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you had this opportunity here in front of you, and you didn't seize it. Like, you looked like you didn't belong on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was outclassed, outmanned, you know, outskilled last night. And that's just me being a fan, and I'm just telling you what it is. Like I said, like, I picked the Patriots. I went with my heart. Should have went with my mind. Like I said, I watched the all 22s. Like, I seen it on film. Like, yo, like, this Seattle defense is no joke. I wasn't too concerned about the offense because I knew New England's defense is good, you know? So I was just concerned about Seattle's defense, that defensive front. You know what I'm saying? Then you look at the secondary, how they clamp down the wide receivers. Like, you see the issues right there. Like, they need more pieces on offense in New England. So until you get that, you really can't expect to be doing much. Like, this year was your golden ticket, you know what I mean, in my humble opinion. You know what I'm saying? So you look at next year, man, look, you play in the AFC West. You got the NFC North. So that's going to be tough. You got to go play Seattle again. I believe that's up. Is that in Seattle? I mean, look, yeah, you got to go play Seattle in Seattle next year. You got to go to LA to go play the Chargers. You got to go play Kansas City. You got to go to Detroit and go play Detroit. You got to go to Chicago and go play the Bears. You know what I'm saying? And you still got your regular division games. Like, who cares about the Jets? You know what I mean? But, you know, you looking at your home games. You got the Packers coming in. You got the Vikings coming in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the Steelers coming in for whatever they're going to be. Quarterback, we don't know what the quarterback going to be. Mike McCarthy, I ain't a fan of that, but they still got a good defense too, you know, but it's a lot that got to go on with New England, and it is what it is, man. So we wrap up this 2025 NFL season with Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Congratulations to the Seahawks. Congratulations to that fan base. And for New England, hey, man, look, gotta start looking at yourself in the mirror, man. Figure out what you need to get yourself over the hump. And it's going to be hard to get back. It's going to be hard to make the playoffs next year. This schedule is going to be tough. Like, we all know what the schedule was this year. And I've been a person who looked at everybody who talked about New England and not say nothing because I understood it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I was like, look, we play who we play. Like, I understand, like, yeah, like, we beat the Chargers in the playoffs, but we know they had a banged-up offensive line. Offensive line had been healthy all year. You go to the Texans, you play the Texans the next week, and I knew, yeah, their defense is crazy. You got Hunter and Anderson Jr. over there, but you playing against C.J. Stroud. I was like, yo, New England gonna win. And then you go to Denver, and that was supposed to be the matchup where I was like, ugh. But Bo Nix gets hurt, and you got Jarrett Stidham. Like, come on, man. He a backer for a reason. Like, so you go there and you win, but we get the Super Bowl and I was like, whoever come out the NFC probably going to beat the Patriots, man. Like, whether it's going to be the Rams, whether it's going to be the Seahawks. But then my heart was like, nah, we going to win this joint. You know what I mean? We going to win this joint. But it is what it is. I should have just thought with my mind more so than with my heart. You know what I mean? That's what happens, You know what I mean? Like, if your mind and your heart ain't aligned, then, hey, it's going to spell disaster, and it did. And it looked like last night, like what it was. Like, they didn't belong on the field last night. They wasn't good enough. And that's just the honest truth. So y'all call me, whatever you want to call me, about a fake fan, but all you want to know is, man, I'm going to keep it 100. Like, I'm going to tell you, like, they wasn't good enough last night. They looked like they didn't belong on that field. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we're going to look at this. And we're going to move forward to the following season, man. Look, the draft coming up. Free agency going to be opening up soon. Let's see what all these teams do, all 32. We're going to be talking about that, of course. I'm not just covering the Patriots. Like I said, I'm covering all 32. My team just so happens to be the Patriots, man. But that'll say you got to take your bias out of the equation when talking about other teams like the Jets, you know what I mean? And the Bills in the same faction. You just got to do it. But until next time, man, look, that was the recap of the Super Bowl. Good chat with y'all, and we out, man. Look, check out Unrivaled Basketball tonight, TNT. The one-on-one start on Wednesday, so we're going to be talking about that. NBA heating up. And also, we're on the road to WrestleMania, man. We got Raw tonight. We still got things to talk about, so tap in. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. Do all that good stuff on all the channels, man. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Game time with Hubb, man. Until next time, man. You already know what time it is, man. It's game time, baby. We out. Peace.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Game Time with Hubb. Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss Game Time action. See you next time.